Hi there, friends. I'm Deandra Wardell. I am one of the co-hosts of this year's Toyota Kata Summit, KataCon7, hosted by Lean Frontiers. This has been an extraordinary week of learning. The presenters did not come to play with us this week. They have just shared so much rich information, and tomorrow's our last day. We're 4 days in, 1 day to go, and it's just been fabulous. I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. I don't want KataCon to come to an end, but seriously, it's been amazing. What I have appreciated is seeing all the different ways that people are practicing the Toyota Kata in their spaces. And these are people who are members of senior leadership. There are people who are working in nonprofit and volunteer spaces, and people who are applying Toyota Kata to personal aspirations that they have. So, for example, today the presenter shared real life case studies and practical examples of how the Toyota Kata is being practiced in construction. So, in construction, the craftspeople are learning about the Toyota Kata. They are following the 4 steps. They have their storyboards. They have coaches. They have improvers, and they are sticking to the steps. They're sticking to the core tenets of what it is we practice and teach about the Toyota Kata, but they've adapted it and they've made it their own. And there is a huge focus on safety, and there is a huge focus on success, not just for the success of the business, for what it is that they're building, but for the employees, for the craftspeople, that, they are fully engaged. They feel like they're part of the process. And it was just wonderful to hear that presentation. And then the second presentation was about how people in business are using the Toyota Kata and are connecting it with training within industry, TWI. And as a result of that, supervisors are taking training and development of their team members to the next level. They're creating opportunities for growth, for skill development, for talent development. It's just an amazing experience. And then Leanne Schildmeyer, one of my good friends and one of our Women in Lean sisters, shared how she has been using and how she has been practicing the Toyota Kata as a learner. Now, although she is a very experienced coach, she started practicing the improvement kata to improve her golf game, and reached out to be coached, and even brought in a second coach. And what has been interesting is that although she was focused on improving her golf game, as a byproduct, she began to see some of the blind spots she had, both as a learner and a coach. So in the end, she became a better coach by using the kata to improve her golf game. Now, how cool is that? So, again, there's just been so much learning, and, there's this theme of the importance of shifting our mindset, that, to be more curious, to take time to reflect on what we've experienced in coaching sessions and outside of coaching sessions. And what can we do with each kata micro-learning to build upon that, and to continue to grow, to continue to develop, and continue to make improvements in our spaces, whether it's business or personal. And, so the other thing too that has really been a common theme this week is the power of taking one small step. In the book of Zechariah, chapter 4, there is a scripture that says, "Don't despise small beginnings." And that's what I think of when I think about the kata. Don't despise small beginnings. Those small steps, you know, what it is we experience as a result of reflecting and developing a new micro-learning or a burst or an epiphany. It is through those small steps that lead to accomplishing significant targets and having real transformative change. And that is so important, that we are working one small step at a time, as small a step as we can take. And don't despise or question, is this too small? But those small steps lead to something significant. You know, I also go back to, and I thought about a presentation that was shared earlier this week. I've thought about it a lot today, and that was a presentation that was delivered by Sylvain and Marc-Olivier, some good friends of ours from Canada. So Sylvain is a full-time professor, brilliant man, very brilliant. And he also manages the website for Toyota Kata University. And then Marc-Olivier is, he has years of experience in quality, just overall in management, operations, logistics, and continuous improvement. And, you know, Marc-Olivier is a consultant and does all of this great work, you know, within the business environment. But what Sylvain and Marc-Olivier have done, they have partnered and they've developed what they call KataLabs. And these KataLabs are doing so much Kata good, and they're doing so much Kata good in the community. You know, one of the things that they're doing with these KataLabs, they're working with nonprofit organizations. So, for example, there is this food bank in Canada called Moisson Montreal, and it is the largest food bank in Canada. And so, with these KataLabs, it's like just real, you know, real time practicing taking those small steps. So they have like a couple of hours that are blocked, and they figure out, okay, what's the next target we want to reach? And they make that target as small as possible. And as a result of dedicating, you know, these blocks of time with these rapid cycles of improvement, they are making such a huge impact, and they're able, you know, to feed the people in the community. And like I said earlier, Moisson Montreal is the largest food bank in Canada. So, you know, as today, and I've been thinking about this really quite a bit for the past few days, and, you know, I don't want my previous videos to come across as being tone deaf to what's going on in the world. Yes, we're having a great time at KataCon, but we're all still sensitive as to what's going on in our, you know, in our communities, especially around what is happening with Asian hate. I am so over it. And we have got to stop Asian hate. We have got to stop just the racism and the abuse and the attacks on our brothers and sisters in the Asian community. So going back to talking about don't despise small beginnings, you know, what I've been witnessing in the Asian, you know, community, you know, among the root cause racism team, we've been talking about this. And our next blog series will focus on stopping Asian hate. Now, there is a lot of work that goes into putting those blog series together. And they're very important, and they're very impactful, and they're very meaningful. But it is a lot of work. But, you know, we don't have to wait to have a blog series to speak out against Asian hate and look at how we can apply what we know in continuous improvement and apply with what we practice in the Toyota Kata. And especially this week, since we've been talking about micro-learning, these small bursts, these small steps, you know, that can also apply to addressing what we see with Asian hate. So yes, we will still do the blog series, but for right now, I'm going to share a link to an article that has small steps that we all can take right now to speak up, speak out, and address what is going on in the Asian community. So, what are my Kata reflections on day 4? You know, KataCon is an amazing experience. Yes, we have a good time. We laugh, we joke, we're so happy to see one another. But at the end of the day, we are so committed to driving change. And we are committed to practicing the Toyota Kata in such a way that it speaks to, you know, what is at the heart of what we talk about with continuous improvement. Looking for ways to always improve, to always learn, and to demonstrate respect for people. So KataCon, it's more than a conference. It's more than a 5-question card. It is more than a storyboard. It is more than selfies. Although I do love a good selfie. Let me just put that on the record. But KataCon is about continual learning, continuous improvement, transformative change, changing for good, change that sticks, that sustains, that we can build upon it, and that we can continue one micro-learning, one small step, one target condition at a time, one learner, one improver, working together with one coach. Just all of these experiences, one by one, as we all are in our communities, no matter where we are in the world. If we just start out doing taking that one small step at a time and making improvement, we can and we will create the future we want to see. I'm confident of it. So in closing, some calls to action for you are: one, the link to the article that I will be sharing about Stop Asian Hate. I want you to please take a look at the calls to action within that article and find one small thing that you will do right now as a way to support our brothers and sisters in the Asian community, okay? Next, I am going to share the link to a webinar that is hosted by our good friends at KaiNexus. I'll be talking about Kata in the community, and I will share, more information. If you're Kata curious, if you're new on your journey, you want a Kata refresher, I'm going to go back over the basics of the improvement Kata and the coaching Kata, as well as all of the different artifacts that we use to help us to practice and help us to practice deliberately as we learn and start to embed scientific thinking in all that we do. Will go into a little more detail in my reflections from the presentations in this week's KataCon7 conference. Now, won't be covering all of it because I only have 1 hour in this webinar, but I will share some, key highlights, and I'll also share things that I've learned as I have been coached and as I have coached others. And then I'll conclude with Kata in the community and just share some examples of how, like the work that Sylvain and Marc-Olivier are doing in Canada, the work and the work that the Root Cause Racism team that we're doing, how we're applying continuous improvement, how we are applying and practicing the Toyota Kata to create this future that we want to see. Okay, so that's it for now. One more thing. Tomorrow, it will not be a traditional High Five Friday. It's going to be different, and it's going to connect with everything that we've been talking about this week, and it'll be a way to round out and close out this week's KataCon7 experience. So tomorrow's KataCon7 reflection will have the High Five Friday embedded in it. So that should be fun. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate the feedback I've been receiving, especially from those people who said that they, for whatever reasons, were unable to attend KataCon7, that these videos are helping to keep them, updated, and it makes them feel like they're there. So I think that's wonderful. So until next time, my friends, have a good evening, because it's evening where I am. Wherever you are or whenever you're watching this video, I hope you're having a good day. If you have not done so already, Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So you should see some red words that say subscribe. Click on that, and there's a little bell next to it. If you click on that, you'll get a reminder when I post a video. So until next time, take care, be safe, be good to yourself, be good to one another, and keep moving on to the next one.